We have another set of back-to-back legendary heroes, perhaps to go with the new arena changes. As usual, we'll be talking about all the units on this monthly banner, but first, we have a new unit to discuss. Legendary Yuri is a bit of a surprise for those that did not play the Singered Shadows DLC for 3 houses. Yuri is the leader of the Ashen Wolves, which is sort of an unofficial 4th house in Abyss under the Monastery. Yuri and the Ashen Wolves definitely were well received, since they not only got their own banner in Fae, but they also made it into 3 hopes, no DLC required. Yuri is a fun character, and this legendary ult looks like his time skip war attire. He is a red infantry dagger unit to represent his Trickster class, and he is a wind legendary pair-up that boosts attack. From the trailer, we did get to see Yuri's stats. He's paired up with Boltus in the second clip, but not when we see his stats spread. However, he appears to be affected by Freya's Light Blessing for Aether Raids, which means we need to subtract -5 HP and -3 attack from on screen. That means legendary Yuri should have 41 HP, 44 attack, 47 speed, 24 defense, and 26 resistance. Fantastic stats, although not surprising as far as year 7 has been going. For ult skills, Yuri will keep his unique Foul Play Assist skill. This is a swap ability with a 3-space range. In case 47 speed wasn't fast enough for you, Yuri also has Seal Speed 4 to further outspeed enemies. He does not have a way to inflict speed debuffs, so no guard will be active, but it would be a nice benefit if you can get some support. In terms of new skills, Yuri's kit is pretty simple. The Abyssal Blade has 14 might and accelerates specials. If Yuri initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, he gets +5 to all stats, offense and no follow-up, 20% speed as true damage on hit, and he gets 30% damage reduction for 1 hit. Nothing new here, but all solid and competent combat abilities. The 20% speed true damage will proc for area effect specials, which is pretty good too. Some players like to pre-charge AoEs for the OG Yuri, and that can work again if you want to do that. Abyssal Blade is a much more offensive weapon for legendary Yuri compared to its OG form. More stats, damage reduction, and offensive no follow-up is appreciated. The original Yuri's weapon was very basic combat-wise, but focused more on tricky mobility. It essentially replicated Yuri's gameplay from 3 houses, which was super cool, and that is not going away for this legendary ult. Fetters of Dromi's new effects are now a C skill, and this is Yuri's Hero's Relic, enables Kanto 2, and he gets +1 movement all the time. However, if Yuri is affected by the stall status, he will now neutralize his +1 movement buff. By doing this, he won't get locked to 1 space movement. Instead, he now moves 2 spaces like a normal infantry unit. Basically, legendary Yuri has a soft counter to stall. In addition, Fetters of Dromi inflict -4 to all stats on foes within 2 spaces of Yuri in combat. Basically, this is a Spectrum Rain C skill, very similar to Hell's C skill. As mentioned, legendary Yuri has the exact same Trickster perks as his OG form. Kanto 2 and 3 movement is so disgusting with foul play. You can create some insane movement tactics, and on defense teams with dancers, things can get very messy. Because Yuri has Kanto, he can not only swap with allies to save them from long range, but he can then move himself to get out of danger. You can also do the opposite by moving forward, then swapping backwards with an ally to open up attack options. As a bonus, if Yuri is near his allies, he's going to be able to inflict some debuffs as well. Our Ashen Trickster has one new move to show off, and that is Attack and Speed Hexblade, a new Inheritable A skill. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of a mage ally, grant the Hexblade status for 1 turn. If a bonus is active on the unit, grant +7 attack and speed in combat. Like the other Hexblade skill, this status grants adaptive damage, which means you target the lower of defense or res when you're calculating damage. It will also work for AoE specials, which is interesting. Currently, we do not know inheritance restrictions, but this new skill seems to be most similar to Sorcery Blade, which was an A skill. Sorcery Blade is only usable by physical damage infantry units except for Beast, probably because the idea is your mage is infusing the user's weapon with magic. I would like this new Hexblade A skill to be usable by more unit types, but I would expect it to be infantry only for now. As a stat booster, +7 attack and speed on either phase while only requiring a bonus active is pretty simple. Obviously, the bonus should be the Hexblade status, but it technically will work with status or any status or field buff. You do need to run a mage to get Hexblade though, and you must start the turn within 2 spaces of them. Little bit of work required, but for adaptive damage that could be worthwhile. Regarding the AoE specials part, generally you're going to want to run a flat attack stat booster for like life and death, but adaptive damage on the AoE could be useful too. Specifically for this Yuri, his weapon does add extra damage for the AoE special proc as well, so perhaps this is intentional design. One thing to keep track of for Hexblade though is that Mystic Boost does counter it. On this banner, the only Mystic Boost for Owner is also coming back. Overall, Legendary Yuri is a fun unit that keeps all his Trickster shenanigans but makes it better. He's a red dagger this time, but Yuri has a good bit more combat power, which was the trade-off for his insane mobility before. He still has some weaknesses for pure damage, such as Fetters of Dromi being a C skill means no times pulse. If you want to run lethality, you're gonna need flashing or heavy blade, and Yuri still has to take a hit while not running into guard. You could also swap seal speed out for special spiral 4 and run something else like Ruptured Sky or Moonbow. Yuri still can't pre-charge those things though, since you can't run times pulse, you would have to run quicken pulse or get outside support. Seal speed is an interesting skill though, because speed creep has been insane this year. Yuri kinda just gets +9 to all stats with his weapon and C skill, but that still might not be enough with tier 4 dodge skills and hyperspeed units like a Leer coming every new banner. Seal speed 4 might let him double those guys, and in those cases, dodge skills all become useless. Now, there is room for an annoying approach in wind or water sweep. Yuri can still double with those skills, and he can get in Kanto way safely. You could maybe go for a true damage stacking build in that case, or add in a cheeky Savage Blow or Poison Strike Sacred Seal. If you do have an Infantry Pulse type team though, maybe look into area effect specials. Additionally, if Hexblade doesn't seem worth using, Yuri can just run Finish 4 or stack DR with Remote Sparrow. For the most part, Legendary Yuri is just a 2.0 version of his former self. His weapon has way more combat power, but if you want Fetters of Dromi's mobility, you do lose that C-scale flexibility. For the rest of this video, we'll be briefly going through the 11 other heroes you can summon. For red, we have Legendary Yuri, Emblem, and Legendary Sigurd. Blue has Not, Caldori, and Harden. Green has Odor, Legendary Ninian, and Ascended Heir. Colorless is Nuts with Mythic Goto, Medius, and Lord Asker. The red group will house Legendary Yuri, who we have discussed already. For Inheritable Skills, Attack and Speed Hexblade is brand new, so if you want adaptive damage, then you'll need Yuri. Currently unsure what you'll need to inherit it, but considering it does not have a 4 at the end of it, I think it's safe to assume it probably is the tier 4 upgrade to Sorcery Blade. That is slightly troublesome though, because Sorcery Blade 3 has only been on Ogre, and that is it. If this is the case, and you don't have Ogre, then you would not be able to grab Seal Speed 4 at the same time. Only the second time this skill has shown up as well, so it's still very rare. Now, joining Legendary Yuri is Mythic Emblem with her first rerun. She's a dark mythic hero and a red beast flyer. Emblem's standout trait is her Severance C skill, which inflicts undefended and feud statuses on foes. This blocks the usage of Savior and negates all support skills coming from allies, which makes Emblem's team incredibly tough to tank. She will also neutralize penalties on herself and gain the dodge status. From this weapon, Emblem's going to get accelerated specials, +5 to all stats, inflict up to -9 attack, speed, and defense on the foe based on the number of foes within 3 columns or rows of her, and she's going to get defense no follow-up with guard if there are 2 foes within that zone. Emblem also gets no guard as well. Thanks to Beast's agility, Emblem always transforms, which means 3 movement, and it gives offense no follow-up if she outspeeds. For stats, Attack and Speed Clash 4 is a fun A skill. Emblem is the only unit with Beast Agility 3 if you have a speedy beast who wants to stay transformed. Last up is Legendary Sigurd, who is a fellow movement buff abuser. Like Yuri, Sigurd gets permanent +1 movement, and if Holy Knight are procs, Sigurd's entire team gets bonus movement. His Hollow Turfing accelerated specials grants a free follow-up attack and can grant 40% DR for 1 hit. If it's a ranged foe, Sigurd also has his Crusader's Sword B skill for extra damage reduction. To help his assault, Sigurd gets Attack and Defense Catch 4 and Fatal Smoke 3. A lot of healing going on in the game today, so Fatal Smoke may not be a bad tool to have. Overall, this is a very good red group, especially if you want to bolster your PvP team setups. Lots of movement effects, and Emblem and Sigurd are consistent 8-8 threats if you need some better defenses. Legendary Yuri may be able to join that cause with his Trickster skills. There are a lot of unique skills here, but everything inheritable is pretty good, with most of these skills still being pretty new. Moving on to blue, we have Mythic Naut, who is a dark mythic hero and a lance infantry unit with good speed. Naut's weapon has Pathfinder, which makes her a troublesome defense unit since her allies can pass through her tile for free. For combat, she gets +5 to all stats, bonus doubler, and her Moon Twin Wing B skill grants dodge with -5 attack and speed debuffs. To further her speed advantage, she has attack and speed menace, which definitely is helpful with all the speed demons out there. Naut also has Distant Counter, which is still a great all-around skill. Another pretty good dark mythic if you can take advantage of Pathfinder, and you can inherit both of her skills pretty easily. Next up is Caldori, a lance flyer with a good balance of stats with a solid speed. Prodigy Polearm has accelerated specials, plus 5 doll stats, and full no follow-up effects, which is pretty nice. It then has a more complex effect which inflicts attack and defense debuffs on the foe. Essentially, if the opponent has higher stats than Caldori, she inflicts more debuffs to compensate. Similar to Pegasus Flight type units, she can be a bit bulkier than expected. For Inheritable Skills, Caldori has Attack and Speed Catch 4 and Attack and Speed Hold, 2 very solid skills for any flyer. Third, we're going to have Non-Evil Harden, who's a Lance Cavalier with great offensive stats at the cost of that resistance. Coyote's Lance buffs all cavalry allies within 3 spaces with plus 6 attack and speed field buffs and a free follow-up attack status when initiating. Harden also gets these buffs and he has accelerated specials. He can get more attack and speed, 40% DR for 1 hit, and true damage per hit equal to the number of spaces moved by the initiator. For his Inheritable Skills, more good stuff with Surge Sparrow and attack and speed near trace. Harden's the only unit with this near trace variant if you want it, plus you can grab it with Surge Sparrow easily at the same time. Overall, not the craziest blue group in terms of legendaries or mythics, but we got a couple solid lancers and a lot of good skills to inherit. Moving on to the green group, we have Mythic Odor, an Anima Mythic Axe Cavalier with very low speed. Odor's weapon grants Kanto 3 for 4 turns, and he gets plus 6 attack, inflicts minus 6 attack, and he gets a free follow-up attack in combat. Brittle Shell is a Luna special that pre-charges on turn 1. For Inheritable Skills, Odor's going to have Green Dual Cavalry 4 if you want Arena Score, and he also has Flow Refresh if you want offense and a follow-up, with Attack and Defense Menace for boss and debuffs. Not a very complex unit, but Instant Luna does hurt. Next up is Legendary Ninian, a Green Dragon Cavalry Dancer, very unique class type. Dragon's Dance is a normal dance on turn 1, but if you use it from turn 2 onward, it grants Ninian an extra action and a plus 6 attack and speed field buff. Once this happens, there is a 3-turn cooldown before it can be used again. After Ninian dances though, Faithful Breath inflicts minus 6 defense res on the nearest foes within 4 spaces from Ninian and her ally. Ninian can get another plus 6 attack and speed in combat with offense and no follow-up, and if she has Triangle Advantage or the foe has a penalty active, Ninian prevents their counterattack. While previous Ninian alts had pretty terrible base attack, Legendary Ninian can do some respectable damage. With her extra action, after dancing, you can set up some neat moves or just finish off a kill while staying safe. To help her KO potential, she has Attack and Speed Catch 4 and Speed and Res near trace for Kanto, even got Blue Feud for extra debuffs and anti-support power. Very solid dancer to have on hand. Last up is Ascended Air, a Green Dagger Cavalier with great attack and speed. Her weapon has accelerated specials, grants plus 5 stats, grants a potential huge attack boost. She also gets offense in the follow-up, and if air is above 25% HP in the moment, she gets Miracle to survive any hit. Her attack boost will require 2 allies, and it takes 40% of the second lowest current HP of those allies. Basically, if the second lowest HP on your team is 50, Air gets a massive plus 20 attack, which is insane. To pair with her Literal Glass Cannon playstyle, she also has Attack and Speed Catch 4 and Mystic Boost 4. If Air uses Miracle to stay on 1 HP, Mystic Boost 4 will heal her back above 25% HP, which means you can infinitely chain Miracle in certain situations. As an aside, since healers have gotten new skills to play with this year, it is worth mentioning Mystic Boost 4 completely hard counters Dazzling and Wrathful Staff. It also negates adaptive damage, which is kind of an issue for the new Hexblade A skill. For some bonus support, Air is going to keep her Sparkling Boost for bonus team healing. Overall, green is not too bad, a ton of Cavalier and Flyer skills, plus some niche picks like Blue Feud, and then you got Mystic Boost 4, which is only on Ascended Air. The Colorless group is spicy for this month. Mythic Goto is back sans Demon King. He's a light Mythic Colorless infantry mage with very low speed and a whole bunch of defensive stats. Goto gives himself and nearby allies plus 6 defense from his field buffs and a unique status that reduces AoE specials by 80%. In combat, he accelerates specials, inflicts minus 6 attack and res, neutralizes attack and res field buffs on the foe, and he has No Seed Disrupt and heals 7 HP after combat. With Gift of Magic, Goto inflicts another minus 10 attack and res, gets a free follow-up attack, and he has Brave Ike's Refine. Goto gets 80% DR against consecutive hits, and if a ranged foe initiates, he lets them follow up immediately so he can proc that effect. To further cement his tankiness, Goto has Guard 4 for more damage reduction, and Joint Distant Guard can help the whole team. Goto is also the only unit with Guard 4 currently. Next up is Mythic Medius, who is a Dark Mythic and another tanky boy. Medius grants plus 6 attack and res and the On Guard status to himself and nearby allies. On Guard negates ally combat damage and is still unique to Medius. In combat, he will inflict minus 6 attack and res and prevent a follow-up attack. With Assured Rebirth, if Medius has higher res than the foe, he gets a follow-up attack and Dragon Wall that also scales with nearby healers or dragons for up to 60% DR. He has Content Control for extra support, and Defense and Res Ideal 4 just adds more stats. Last up is Mythic Lord Asker, a light mythic and a colorless beast infantry. Illuminating Horn accelerates specials, grants plus 5 stats and a follow-up attack, plus Asker's going to get the true damage and flat DR based on 20% of his defense stat. From our bulk, he has attack defense ideal 4 and attack defense bulwark with the super obstruct effect. With opened a domain, as long as you have one nearby ally from any game not Fire Emblem Heroes, Asker and team get Time's Pulse, Resonance Blades, and Resonance Shields. Very good support skill. Overall, Colorless is cracked this month. Double light mythics if you want more options, and this group of mythic men are super bulky with neat support perks. Very good time to summon here. That'll be it for this month's Legendary Banner. Good luck if you want to get Legendary Yuri. As a reminder, if you aren't up to date on Fey news, the A Hero Rises banner is still been going on for quite a while. Couple of very good units available there. Personally, I got nothing to spend after these Sacred Stones banners, so I'm hoping for some free summon luck. If you're watching this video the day it's been uploaded, there is maintenance starting 7 hours before the next reset. Do what you gotta do before then. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.